morning you join me high up on the hills above the Wiltshire town of Westbury, and I've come here today to look at what possibly could be one of the most romantic places in the UK, and I'll tell you when we get there why. But it's really interesting, it's great to see, local to me, and a lot of people will resonate with it really, and it'll be very interesting. So join me and we'll have a look. As you can see behind me, it's a very peaceful and tranquil spot, and it's attracted lovers and graffiti of all sorts over many years in the area, and it's quite a fond place to the people that live here. And the earliest graffiti goes back to about the 1950s, whereas on Salisbury Plain there are some trees that go back to the 1914-18 war, but this area is really special in a lot of ways. And the thing that I found out that I didn't know about is that putting your name and date on trees is called arboglyphs, and I never knew that. So there's a bit of information for you can get on, and it's part of our recent history, but also this was a Victorian beauty spot. People used to come up here courting all the time, out of the way of the parents I suppose, and lots of things have happened up here, and if these trees could have talked, they would tell you a few eye-watering stories, I've no doubt. So we'll have a look and see what we can see. There are many carvings all over the place and very interesting. That's 1959, so that's 63 years there already. And more of them everywhere you look. Another one here in 1960s this time, 1965. And some of it can be described as almost very saucy graffiti when you look at this sort of thing on here as well. Romantic hearts and all sorts. And yet more hearts again, and dates from the 50s to the 70s and on forward into time, and new mixed in with the old as well, and some remembering people which have passed away too. Literally every tree has a carving on it of some sort. And even recent events can be recorded, and we've got COVID-19 one up there. So it's a modern thing. The downside to it is, if you look at this tree here, the graffiti is broken away and exposed it to become contaminated with disease and insects, and it's all in all pretty dead. And on every tree down here, there's something carved, somebody's initials, somebody's pledged to love, somebody's just put the name and the date on there, somebody's just recorded that they've been there. But that's the thing about these carvings on the trees, that they're a local and of national interest as well, I think. There's not many spots like this around that still survive. And I wonder, with the proposal tree, did they get married, yes or no? If you watch this and you know, please let me know. And you can see what a peaceful and tranquil spot it is here, and why it appeals to romance, I suppose, and in our area. I'll count the number of trees before I leave so we know exactly how many there are. but there must be in excess of 50 odd trees. And locally it's known as Little Switzerland, Low Hanging and the Magic Walk, and they're all beech trees, which are the queen mother of the forest. Well, I'm going to walk down now and count the number of trees. Well, I've counted the trees, and in total there are 106 trees, and each one of them has at least 5 bits of graffiti on it. So that gives you some idea of how magnificent this place is. I'll put some maps on of it, but it's well worth a visit. You may be able to find some family members if you live locally by their initials on there. I've not gone too much into the names. A lot of the names I recognise from my youth, people that I've known in the past and people that I know now. So it's really quite interesting. And I never knew that they were called arborglyphs. Beech trees are quite a significant tree in our environment and they're worth looking after. But this place is amazing to come and visit. Just look at the carvings and see what you think. I think it is possibly one of the most romantic places that you can find. Ideal for those that perhaps want to make a proposal, get up to much more, who knows. But it is a nice area to come to. It's quite secluded on the edge of Salisbury Plain. So this area, seemingly insignificant, is quite significant. It tells us about love and relationships, and just immersing yourself in the area and looking through it. It's amazing. Some of these people must have split up over the years. Some of them must have stayed together forever. Some of them even had children or all sorts of things. So it's quite interesting to find this, and I don't think there's anywhere else like it that I know of. And that's why it's such a special place. And in fact, my children years ago used to call it the Magic Walk. So that'll give you some idea of it.